Hello and welcome to one of my favourite places on the canals. I'm at Marple, where the Peak Forest Canal meets the Macclesfield Canal. And why am I here? Well, because if you say canal boat to many people in Britain, they would typically think of a 50-ish foot long steel narrowboat, very traditional. But there are other boats that can happily use the canals as well, such as fiberglass cabin cruisers, and it's one of those that I've come to see today. And this is the boat, a 1975 23-foot Ensign with up to 4 berths and powered by an outboard motor. This is the woman who owns it, her first boat, having bought Skylark just a few months ago.
I went to see a boat first called Destiny, which I thought was great. That was a Seamaster. I thought that is perfect size. Went down to look at it, just wasn't for me at all. It was really cold and dingy, didn't feel cosy. There was a big giant dead spider in the toilet. It just put me off. The second boat I went to see, it was raining on the day, and the water was just coming through the ceiling all over the guy who was trying to sell me through the windows. So that was a big no. I went onto Facebook because I heard that you can buy boats on Facebook. Had a little look, found this boat, Skylark. Went to have a look, went to the Shropshire Union Canal to meet the owners, and then literally just fell in love with it on the spot and knew that it was the boat for me.
There's seemingly nothing online about Ensign boats of the 1970s, but this one's clearly been modernised, apparently by the prior owners who totally refurbished and restored it. There's a nice open back deck which will be glorious in summer, with plenty of seating across the back over the gas locker and access to the engine. Steering is by wheel on the port side, with the usual throttle control lever for forwards, backwards and your speed. That controls a 10 horsepower Honda outboard. It's a straightforward setup, ideal for the new boat owner. Inside, the boat is obviously compact, but it's like a cosy little country cottage. Bench seats on either side as you enter can be turned into a small double bed across the width. Pictures and knickknacks make the boat feel like home. There's a small galley of 2-burner gas hob with sink and plenty of cupboards for storage underneath. A cool box pulls out from the opposite side, enough for short breaks aboard. In the V-shaped bow is a further dining and seating area which can also convert to a bed. There's even room for a toilet compartment which houses a portable loo and is surprisingly spacious. Lighting aboard is low-power LED, and there's no need to be chilly with diesel-fired blown air heating.
I just have always loved boats. The idea of being out in nature and being on the water, I've always loved the water. That sense of freedom, what you get from, say, a camper van. I'd already done the camper van thing. I'd been everywhere in the Lake District, everywhere in Wales, just recently done the North Coast 500. And I thought I need something new, and I'd always wanted a boat, always watched Canal Boat Diaries. I just thought I'm going to get a boat, and people thought I was a bit crazy and it was a bit impulsive, but I'd been thinking about it for a long time before and people didn't realise that. And then I watched your video on the fiberglass boats, and I was thinking, right, you know, it's not too much of a big risk if I start off with a small modest boat first and it doesn't hit the savings that hard. And what can go wrong? And I just never look back now.
It was not the most promising day for a cruise weather-wise, but depending where you looked, there were hints of blue, so we decided to set off. With the engine burbling away to itself quite happily, Jade set about untying the bow, stern and centre lines. That done, we set off, initially north towards the Lochflight, but only so that we could turn around at the junction with the top of the Macclesfield Canal, a manoeuvre which Jade executed with perfect precision despite onlookers sitting on a bench watching our every move, which is usually a guarantee of disaster.
I think when I first even spent the night on it, the first time I tried to cruise it, that was really hard. You don't realise how difficult it is. It's got a wheel, and you think, okay, I'm just going to steer it like a car, and it's the most opposite thing, because once you turn, it snakes. You've really got to take your time to learn how to cruise it. Hi.
Out on the water again, let's settle back for a bit of old-style cruising the Cut, enjoying the sights and sounds of the canal. We briefly had a stowaway. Jade's only owned the boat since June, and it's her first, but she says it's everything she imagined it would be.
The experience has been fantastic. I've loved every minute. Even when I'm not out cruising on the boat, just coming here, having a cup of tea, having a read, doing a little bit of meditation, just being on my own, which I do like my own space. It's just fantastic being around nature, seeing horses in the fields, those little things. Even when it's raining, it's such a peaceful thing, and you get to, the boating community as well. Everyone is so sociable. Everyone says hello. Everywhere you go, everyone's like hello. And I remember one time I finished a lock, and I was speaking to this lady, and I said, everyone's so friendly. And she said, I know, because we're not rushing anywhere. We're just taking our time. And I thought, this is the life. And I think everyone needs to experience having a boat, to just slow down and relax and take that time for yourself.
The Peak Forest Canal has stunning views. And lovely dogs on the towpath. I recognise this corner. I moored my own boat there back in 2019. A narrowboat was catching us, so we moved over to let it past. Pleasantries exchanged with the other boat, we set off again. And hooray for a heron, so tame this time that it just stared at us without flying away.
All settled and...
The weather had improved as hoped, but although boating can seem idyllic, there have been one or two things to get used to.
The drawbacks with the spiders, because I thought, I've always had a huge fear of spiders, and I did not realise how many spiders come on boats. So that was a big thing, but obviously a small thing. But other than that, no, I mean, the battery died the other day and I didn't have a clue what to do. I didn't realise that when I was watching the TV, I was plugging the TV into the wrong port and draining the engine. I didn't realise that I needed to, every time I come in the boat, I needed to run it to charge up the engine. So that died, didn't know what to do. Had to phone the last owner who FaceTimed me, showed me everything, and then, you know, got the battery sorted and things. But it's all like a learning curve, because you just don't know until you've experienced it. But no drawbacks as of yet, except that 2 small things.
And that previous owner has turned out to have a heart of gold, always willing to help. Perfect for a novice boater.
David and his wife. David bought the boat in 2017 and absolutely gutted it, restored it to everything. He just, he's worked so hard on it. He created its own little website, a Skylark website, and he's been fantastic. Any little thing what I've needed since I've bought the boat, I've contacted him. He wrote me a big list. Skylark's hints and tips. Anything I've needed has been there, and because he loved the boat so much, I think he was happy that it went to me, because he knows that I'm just gonna, you know, look after it also the way he did.
We turned around, the joy of a short boat meaning no need to wait to find a winding hole. You can pretty much turn anywhere. As we headed back, another glimpse over the glorious hillsides. The wildlife followed us in the hope of a bite to eat. Back past this popular mooring spot, Jade's only had this boat for a brief time, but the boating bug has bitten and she's already pondering the future.
I'm thinking in about 2 years, although I will be a little bit reluctant to get rid of this boat. I love it so much. It's only a little modest thing, but it means so much to me. But I will upscale. I'm looking at like a 32-foot narrowboat, steel narrowboat, and then obviously go bigger again and better. I mean, the idea is, I don't not set on the retirement plans properly yet, but I would love to live on a boat.
Round the last few bends, heading up to Marple Junction. And we were back. I'd had a great day, and it just goes to prove you don't have to spend huge sums to enjoy boating on the canals.
Everybody should try. If you're thinking about getting a boat, you can get a boat, a canal cruiser, fairly cheap, and I would definitely go for it. If it's been a dream, absolutely go for it. And people are put off by the mooring fees and those costs. I mean, they're probably similar to what you'd pay for your car insurance and your MOT. I'd say go for it, and yeah, just live the dream if you can.